kept it a secret from me. For 29 years, they didn't tell me that they had given me cannabis, and I had no memory of taking it. And it wasn't until I was writing a book with one of the federal marijuana patients that both my parents sat me down and talked to me about it. And, by the age of 2, I had put my fist through a glass window. I was sent home from preschool for biting my teachers on the legs. My parents were Southerners. They knew about rubbing rum on the gums of the teething babe, so the idea of a folk remedy was not foreign to them. And they decided to try cannabis with me, and they said the results were immediate and dramatic. My crime fits, my self-aggression, my destruction of property ceased. I was sleeping well and eating well, and they used it with me until I was 5 years old.
So I gave in to peer pressure and tried it. And it did nothing to me, it was garbage. About the 10th time I did it, I was playing a game of chess, and I hate chess. And I sat for 30 minutes. And it was the first time in 5 years I'd sat for more than 10 minutes. So it's multiple congenital cartilaginous exostosis and a variant of the syndrome pseudo-hypoparathyroidism, which in lay terms means bone tumors on the ends of long bones that go outwardly, kind of like this tumor right here, going outwardly into the muscles and the veins, stretching the muscles and the veins, making it very painful. More important, any kind of movement with over the tumor can tear the muscle, and more important, tear a vein. And I could hemorrhage, a clot could break off, go to my heart, my brain, my lungs, and I'm basically dead. That's when, after discovering that marijuana wasn't medicine, that's when I decided that I didn't like being a criminal. But if this is the medicine I needed, then I had to have it.
So how did you get it?
I left school after 3 semesters in Miami, went back to my hometown, Portsmouth, Virginia, and started the battle of taking on the federal government. You can see, I lived in Virginia, and Virginia is the history of this country. Give me liberty, give me death. The majority of one is still the majority. Meaning you can take on the establishment if you're different in Virginia, as long as you do it the right way.
Well, I actually have a multitude of different medical conditions. I have a lot of chronic pain, very severe chronic pain. A nurse pulled me aside who had been watching me suffer. I was partially paralyzed on the whole right side of my body and in a wheelchair for 4 years. And a nurse actually who had been watching me a little bit, she pulled me aside and said, you know, have you ever thought about talking to the doctor about medical marijuana and medical cannabis? And I was like really offended. I got mad because I was very conservative, and I had 2 small
What city
children.
were you living in at this point?
I was living in Stockton.
Oh, okay.
At the time, which is a very conservative little country town. And then, you know, I really, was concerned because I had children and didn't want to do that. So. But the reason why I changed my mind was because of my youngest child, who would cry often at night, and I felt like, being a good parent is really, doing what's in the best interest of your children, not what's in your best interest. So instead of, going against my, pretty much just going against my own belief and re-examining my belief system, did I come to the conclusion that it was very important for me to be here for my children and to fight. And if cannabis was the one thing that would save my life, then I should try it and see if that really was the case. And it was. So I swore that, if I was able to get out of that wheelchair, that, I would dedicate my life. So.